Hi, I'm Dog, and welcome back to Key West in the UBL. A further look behind the numbers, behind the hitting numbers this year. As you can see, we're on the reports page. We're in the basic batting stats report. We have sorted by on-base average, by batting average rather. Very similar to on-base percentage. On-base percentage is something I value very highly. If a guy is not getting on base at least a 300 clip, that basically puts him in the market to be on the market. So, and you can see, just as a quick aside, I had two of those guys down here, three of them actually. Jeremy Hansen was sent back down, or did I release him? Oh, I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, we sent him back down. I think I put him on waivers and then sent him back down. Where'd we go? On base percentage. There we go. David Machado, he's been our great shortstop for many years. David was sent back down. You can see he's one of the guys that I value him more than other people do because of his high avoid K rating, and his absolutely elite left infield defense, second, third, and short. The guy is a boss and has always been a boss at all those positions. Just superlative defense. He actually is on the block if anybody needs a defensive replacement. I'm looking probably for a, well, we'll have to see. I'm thinking right now 4th or 5th round pick, or maybe a 2-star rating guy, some guy who has potential, but to be a minor contributor on the big league club. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But man, I have a hard time giving up my guys. So as you guys who have PM'd with me know, negotiations with me can be tough because I kind of I know what I like, but man, I have a hard time letting my guys go sometimes. So I just have to have time to think about it. Anyway, he has really underperformed this year at the plate, and he got sent down. He was hitting for a 192, 245 clip, and that just doesn't cut it. If this is not higher, it's not cutting it. OBP. And back to our sort. Pedro Rivera was a waiver claim. He is in the market. We just acquired. Who did we just acquire? The new guy. Is he on the list? I don't see him. Well, he's not on the list because he didn't accrue 2017 stats with us. I can't remember his name. Oh, man. Oh, well. We acquired a new guy that makes Rivera a surplus. Although I love Rivera's defense. Look at this. Look at this outfield defense. The guy hits for contact and gap, and he has a high avoid K. He's fast. You would think he'd be just what I want, but I don't particularly want home run power in my 4th, 5th outfielder. His discipline is a bit of a problem. His plate discipline. You see, for Salt Lake this season, before he was put on waivers and very limited appearances, he hit very darn well. For us, in 120 at-bats, 242, 268, 317 splits. Yeah, not so great. He did do well against left-handed batting, not against right-handed batting, which is odd because he's a left-hander. But he's just one of those lefties who sees the ball more clearly when it's, when he can see the ball further and for a longer time, he's a better hitter. And I guess there are a lot of, right-hand hitters who are better at right-handed pitching. Simply for that, they get to see the ball for just a fraction of a second longer. Yeah. Or something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, Rivera's on the market. And the one guy on this short list here who is not on the market is Rick Roll Hamilton. You see he hit 246, 291, 314. But after acquiring him from Nashville, he is my designated fifth infielder now. He unthroned David Machado. Machado used to be in fact, he was my starting shortstop for a couple of years. But Hamilton is now he's not my lead backup in the infield, and you see why here. Look at this. Maxed out first, second, and short at 80 ratings, 75 at third base. This guy is good. This guy is elite defensively. And he picks up a lot of slack for us. And with his high avoid K rating and mediocre contact, he's not a gimme at the plate. He hit 246, and I'll take that for my defensive infielder. I wish his OBP was higher, and it has been in the past. Nashville, he hovers around a 300, just over a 300 OBP. Yeah, so yeah, a little bit higher OBP, and I have no complaints with Rick Roll. He got the job done for us. Also, he's got a little bit of, he can hit the tater, once in a while. He hits that tater. But look at this, 82 hits, 28 strikeouts. Now, he only walked 20 times, which I would rather have, 40 walks instead of 20, but he only struck out 28 times versus 82 hits. I love to see that, man. That just makes my cold heart warm. All right, but here's what I wanted to lead you to look at. Home runs. I'll sort by home runs in just a second. Batting average. Well, other than those guys and Abdurrahman Wrist, other than these four guys I've featured and Abdurrahman Wrist, everybody else had a 300 plus OBP, which is that's sort of my line in the sand. You got to get me that 300 OBP, or you're a waste of roster space. Abdurrahman Wrist was this is not a happy guy right here. I got him at a too high a price from Chesapeake. I kind of got jobbed on that deal. But I badly needed a backup catcher. Badly. I had basically nothing. And I was kind of desperate, and I kind of overvalued Abby Wrist. He didn't do too badly for us last year. You see, 219, 361, and 96 at bats. I'll take that. 361 OBP. I don't care about the batting average so much. Bottom of the order guy, as long as he's getting on base for the top of the lineup that's coming up, I'm okay with it. This year, though, pretty atrocious for him. He's still on the roster for now, but I am actively in the market for a backup catcher. I say that, and you guys with catchers, I haven't talked to you yet, so it's still in the back of my mind. I still think Wrist is better than he did this year, and I know I couldn't get anything for him. Yeah, so these guys, on base percentage, Denny Hunt did fantastic for us, and only 62 at bats, a 419, 486, 516 split for a 1.002 OPS plus. Oh man, or OPS I should say. That's he didn't hit any taters, but good night. He only struck out 7 times and hit safely 26 times. Excuse me. The guy did the job for us. I wish I could afford to bring him back this year, but I can't. Roman Ramos, the Romulan. This guy hit at a 390 clip as a pitcher. I need to put this guy at the top of my order. What am I talking about? 7-day lineups. Here I come. Havoc Gonzalez. Look at that. My fourth outfielder was my number 3 OBP guy. That's amazing. Juan Lopez. This guy started out red hot this year. I mean, he was hitting close to the 400 range. He was chasing Louisville's John Barber for all he was worth. He was chasing that Mad Barber for all he was worth. Man, Juan Lopez came back from kind of a down year last year. Actually, last year he started off badly, very badly. I was shopping him around in 2016 before the trade deadline. I was half-heartedly shopping him around. He had a big contract and nobody wanted to touch it. But yeah, that he really started off hot. His hot streak at the end of last year continued into the start of this year. He cooled off, but he has been the man for us offensively and defensively. Roger Green had a good year. He kind of under the radar. Green will hit a homer or two in some games, and you're like, wow, where'd that come from? Green's also a speed threat. I kept the reins on him this year. He was not happy about that. He wants our all-time club record in stolen bases. In fact, he wants to lead the Eastern League in career stolen bases, but I don't want him getting injured. Eric Dickey did well for us before I traded him, like the heartless bastard that I am, for Denny Hunt. Jerry Armstrong was hurt part of the year, but he came back and did well. Matthew Canio had some adjustment. You see he hit 258 for us, and that's okay. I expect him to hit in the 270s, 280s in the future, but I'll take that and a good 351 OBP with a legitimate power threat. Rodney Duncan was in a terrible slump against left-handers. Is that right? Left-handers? But he hit right-handers a ton. Yeah, that's right. See, he's left-handed, and he hit left-handers at a 206 average with a 247 OBP. Terrible. But right-handed hitters, he destroyed. 294, 378, 15 home runs. So, yeah, Duncan, he's my boy. He my boy, y'all. He my boy. Mark Combs, my catcher. I kind of hate this guy. Kind of love him. Love-hate kind of thing going on. But he did excellent for us this year. I think this must have been his best year. 287. Actually, his first year, he hit in limited appearances as a backup in 2014. He hit 295, 327. Kind of fluky backup, you know. But look at this, 261, 304, 277, 341. And then this year, 287, 347. His home run production was down. He got more appearances this year. He basically was our full-time starter, whereas in the past he's been platooning. And his home run production was down, but I like him. I like him. He was I'm trying to remember what round pick he was. Oops. Oh, he was second round pick in that ridiculous 2013 draft. 29th overall pick. And he has done great. His ratings look pretty mediocre, both defensively and offensively, but he's better than those ratings. He's done well. I'm fortunate to have lucked into drafting him. I don't think I had much to do with drafting him. I think that was an AI draft choice. Ramiro Gomez had his worst year ever. And he was injured much of the year. Yeah, I don't know what to say about old Ramiro. He let us down this year. If his bat had been hot, who knows? Russ McLean, 259, 331. Yeah, I'll take that. It's not the supreme bat I hoped for, but I'll take it. And Frank Schmidt. He was a trade with Nashville a couple of years ago. The trade that sent Vic Schaefer to the Isotopes in exchange for Schmidt. And he only had 92 at-bats, but he accorded himself extremely well. Okay, I spent all this time talking about batting average and OBP, and I meant to talk about home runs. So let's zoom in on that for just a moment. Roger Green actually led the team in home runs, which is a reversal. Last year it was Jerry Armstrong by a wide margin. Rodney Duncan, both of these guys were injured part of the year. You can see their at-bats are not at 400s. They were injured part of the year. Russ McLean was a late trade with Oklahoma. Ramiro Gomez was injured much of the year and just simply had an off year. Havoc's our fourth outfielder. Canio was traded at the deadline, and He only had 128 hits with us. And then Combs. But I really like this taper. We led the league in home runs, but it wasn't one guy and it wasn't two guys. Green, Armstrong, Duncan, and Lopez all hit between 16 and 22 taters. And that's what I want, you know. I want a lineup where your opposing pitchers, you know, everybody protects everybody. And, you know, your opposing teams cannot simply pitch around one guy and, you know, expect to get out of the inning. So, yeah. We didn't make it as far as deeply behind the numbers as I hoped to, but I think that's a good quick overview of our average and our power this year. Again, you see, look at our RBI. Green had the sort of the lion's share, but beyond him, look at the taper here. That's a nice taper. A lot of people were driving in runs. I like that. Walks. See, they didn't pitch around Roger Green all that much. He did lead us in strikeouts, however, which has been a trend that's been kind of continuing here for a couple of years. He used not to strike out very much, but he now leads us in strikeouts. That's another thing. I tend to move away. I tend to deal or trade or just sort of move away from the guys who strike out a lot because, you know, they may be a power threat if they make contact, but I'd just rather not deal with the strikeout, the easy out, you know, the bipolarness of it. I want guys who are consistent. So, yeah, and even his 80 Ks, it was high, but the rest of the guys, again, nice easy tail on the distribution here. Stolen bases. Who led us in stolen bases? Oh, Russ McLean. See, Russ probably didn't get to his individual settings and change that until late in the season. Yeah, he led us in stolen bases with 9. OPS, Denny Hunt. Roman Ramos. Look at that. Look at that guy. 5 doubles and 16 hits. This guy, he can crank it. Don't mess with him as a starting pitcher. He'll drive in runs to help himself. Yeah. Throw him those lollipops. Just keep on throwing him lollipops. All right. Well, that's let's see, triples. Green because he's a speedster. Doubles. Juan Lopez led us in doubles this year, and Roger Green behind him. Lopez doesn't have a lot of speed, so his were pure power doubles. Green, he could stretch a single to a double pretty easily. Yeah. Alrighty. And run scoring, Green, the speedster, Lopez. Yeah, and then there's a little bit of a break, and then Duncan, Combs, Gomez, Hamilton, Armstrong. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end this episode here. I wanted to get a little bit more behind these home run numbers, but we'll do that another time. All right. Have a good one. I'm out.